Hey guys, we are back today with another unboxing. We have the Ryobi RTS11. This is the 10-inch table saw with folding stand. Pretty excited. We're gonna open this up, take a look, and try it out. Stay tuned. All right guys, before we open it, we're gonna look at a couple of things on the box. First is, it does a 12-inch right of blade rip cut. It does a 8-inch left of blade rip cut, obviously cross cuts, and then it can do a Dota up to a 1/2 inch. It has a 15 amp, 120 volt motor, and the 10-inch blade goes up to 4,700 RPMs. So, pretty cool. We're excited. It does a 3-inch depth on the 90 degree, so pretty standard there. Let's open up and take a look. I'm pretty excited for this one. So we'll just start with the safety cord there, and just down the side. Slide it over and pull it out. Looks like the legs are in here. So, set the legs up. And that's all in the box. So everything comes out pretty nifty. Looks like these are quick attach. That'll be nice. And more leg hardware, it looks like. There. We have our fence. That's nice. And it does have a couple of other attachments that actually look like they connect, which is really cool. Let's take that styrofoam off. Take the front off. Oh, there we go. Couldn't see because it's facing you guys. We have our slide and our guard. That out of the way. Inside here, all of our bolts. Set up that fence, and somehow we're going to be able to get this last foam off the motor, but that might have to wait. And then right here, there's actually, looks like a little storage on the underside of the table. It has our blade adjustment tools and our push stick. And it's a pretty nice push stick. It even has measurements. It's got 12 inches marked off on the top there. We'll show a close-up of that. But kind of nice push stick, and you can store it right there on the bottom of the saw. It's kind of neat. All right, got our instruction operator's manual, and notice there, in order to get this last one, we have to just release the motor, and to do that, I want to come up to the front side here, without losing too much off the end, and we can unlock it and slide that forward, which will allow us to get the foam out. We'll slide that back and lock it into place there. Once we have that locked, we're actually going to move this out of the way. So we'll get the saw out of the way. And we're going to set up the legs. So we'll move our wall and other pieces out, and our slide. So we've got everything. We've got a clear table here. So here is the leg assembly, and to assemble the legs, take one of these. We're going to slide it in and match up the holes there. So there's only one hole on the bottom leg, and we're going to match that up down there. Now, in this case, we want that to be on the outside. So obviously you don't want those legs inside crossing or hitting each other. We're going to do those on the outside like that. And we'll grab the other one here. So get both of those. And we can do these both at the same time here. All right. Next we're going to go to our hardware, and we have our leg pieces there. We've got the leg bolts. These are to hold the table, so these will go up through the top to hold the table, and they've got little wing nuts. And they're shorter, so little short ones with wing nuts, and there should be 4 of those, which there are. We have 2 for the legs right there, and we'll set the rest of the hardware aside for now. Because there's only 2 bolts, it does mean that these are going to connect together, and these are directional. So you need to make sure that you have them on the correct side. What is also directional is the top piece, or this mount. So you need to make sure that one is facing down, but as we improperly did here, we actually need to flip this around so it makes a square, and we'll lift this up here so you can see what this looks like. But essentially you're going to make it into the tray. So it's going to look like that. We're going to lay that down, and we'll have the legs inside like that. And now we can slide the legs back together like so. And then we're going to take the bracket, this angle piece, and it's going to go in between. And there's a little hook, I don't know if we can get a close-up of that, but there's a little hook there that goes into a hole on the inside of this one. So I'll show on this side. So there's actually 2 holes on the top piece, and that hole is specifically meant for that little notch. So when we slide these back there, this will hook into that notch on the bottom. And same thing on this one. There's only one little notch, and that's how you know it's on the right side. And we slide that into place there. Get that down. Slide that up. There we go. So now it should all be in a line. We've got our little trough on that side. These black brackets are hooked into place. And then we're going to go ahead and put the bolt, and you got a lot to slide through, so hopefully everything's lined up. We're going to have to wiggle it just a little bit to get it to go through all the way. Spin it as we go. There we are. Now, it depends on how you want to do it. I'm assuming that they actually probably recommend these go in, so we're going to flip that around. Now that we've got that in, we're going to send it back this way so that the excess is on the inside, and then we'll put that on there. And that's a 13 millimeter. We've got our socket here ready to go. Let's get it going the right direction. And we don't need to over tighten this because we still want it to move, so we want it to be snug but not so tight that it can't slide back and forth. This is a folding table leg, so we want some wiggle room there. Let's see if we can get that to go in there. Oh. Said with all these pieces, getting it to go through all of them at once is a little bit tricky. We'll lift it up this way, see if we can wiggle that down. That one is really fighting me. Straight. There we go. All right, put that on there. Again, we'll go just so it's snug but not tight. There we go. And we should be able to open that up, and we see that holds just like that. All right, before we get to attaching the saw to the legs, or the table to the legs, we're gonna go ahead and finish attaching the handle to the front. So around here on the front, you have the raise and lower. There's the lock, and then this raise and lowers the blade, but there's also a handle that gets attached right here to the front. And to do that, it's got a single bolt that goes through the middle with a washer on this side before it gets to the plastic, and then a single nut on the back side. So we'll slide that through there and then attach it like this. And we'll grab our screwdriver here. Attach it like that. Fortunately, it's self-tightening on the back side, so you don't need to get a crescent wrench or anything back inside, or a nut, but we'll go ahead and tighten that down. Once we have that, and it should be a little loose. It's going to obviously spin while you crank it so that you can hold on to it, but once we get that on, then they give us, we'll just make sure that's, yep, that's good. And then they give us the nice little cap, so the little Ryobi cap that we can put on there, just like so. Now it's covered, and we can go ahead and let the blade loose. And then if we spin it this way, and it does have the plus and minus to tell us which way, but we can go ahead and raise up the blade. You see the blade coming up there, and we're ready to go. Lower it there. All right, guys, now we are ready to attach the table to the legs. So we'll go ahead and lift it up. Now, one thing to point out, obviously the one side is longer than the other. However, the holes for the legs, or to mount the legs, are the same distance. So it doesn't matter which side you want to mount the table to the legs on. You can pick either side, but we'll go ahead and pick up the saw here, bring it over to the table, and line it up with the holes there. And once we've done that, we've got our 4 bolts with their wing nuts, and the instructions recommend that we do this with the bolts going up and the wing nuts on the top, which is going to make it easier to tighten these down. Now we gotta just make sure we line those up and tighten it down there. So we'll go ahead and do that. Like so. Now we'll finish putting on the rest of the bolts to mount those, but while we've got it here, we'll go ahead and talk about some of the other attachments. So we have our push here, or our slide, that goes on either side, and there's 2 places for that. We have our fence, and this is nice. It does have the lock with the sight so that we can see exactly where we are from 0, and it does have a count 0 to 8 inches on the one side, and you can go up to 12 inches, actually a little more than 12 inches on the other side. One other thing, to get into the blade, there's actually a quick release right here on the front, and this moves. We'll do a close-up of that as well, but we can pull that, it opens up, and then we have access to everything inside here. Next we have the blade guard, and this is a little bit tricky, a little bit interesting. Obviously the first thing we have to do is raise the blade. The blade guard attaches to the back mounting piece here in the back. But what's interesting is it has a little locker, so there's a little lock piece here. So in the up position, it allows us to attach this, just like so, and then we pull down the lock in the back, and that keeps it on. Now, the first impression I get is this is, I'm not even sure what to say about this. It moves all over the countryside. This is just everywhere. It does lock up and out of the way, so if you don't want it, and it has in the back here the locks for anything being cut, so it doesn't get kicked back at you. But just my first impression, I'm afraid that this plastic, if you bump this too hard, it's gonna go right into the blade and just shred this plastic. I'm not super confident in this blade guard keeping your hands. I mean, if you're falling over or something or off balance or, I don't know, we'll see how it does. We'll see what it does, but not a lot of confidence in this blade guard, just my initial thoughts. We'll see how it does, but yeah. So it's a pretty standard slide. You can adjust from 0 to 60 degrees on the slider, and you have both sides here. Now, one thing that's really cool is, in addition to the storage on the bottom for your wrenches and adjustment tools for the blade adjustment, you can also store your push stick, and this is the push stick. Again, if you're pushing things through, you can store this on the fence. I don't know how many times I've lost my push stick or had to go grab a piece of wood and use that, but it stores right here on the fence pretty easily. So typically when you're using your push stick, you've got your fence in place and you're trying to push it right past your fence and between the fence and the blade. And so to be able to grab that off the fence and use it, that was pretty cool adjustment there, little feature they have. As far as this blade guard, I'm still not confident in this blade guard. It pushes all the way into the saw blade itself. Very easily too. Obviously it's gonna, can impact it, but this is just almost obscene how far that goes. Again, not a lot of confidence in that. We'll have to see. Otherwise, you've got your adjustments down here. So you have the lock, and that allows you to adjust your left to right. Obviously, you wouldn't have your fence or a blade guard in there, but you can adjust that back and lock it. Raise and lower the blade, also right here. Now, one thing, and we'll see if we can see it here, but right in the front, normally you would expect to have a key. I'm really surprised that there's no key for the on-off switch. That surprises me. Most of the saws that I'm used to working with have a key. This one doesn't. Something to be aware of as far as safety goes. So there it is. On the back, we're gonna flip this around, and it does have the ability to hook this up to a vacuum. So if you got a shop vac, we can hook this up to a shop vac and have a cleaner work environment, hopefully not as much sawdust there. Otherwise, pretty minimal on the back side. Everything else is pretty standard saw. So that's it, guys. Excited to take a look, give it a try. We'll see how it does. I think it'll do well. It's got the 24-inch carbide tooth blade on it already, so not the best blade, but definitely a decent blade to get started with, and we'll try it out. That's it for today. Pretty inclusive as far as what this comes with. All the tools that you would need other than the 13mm socket to attach the legs or put the legs together. But otherwise, it comes with the Allen, it comes with your wrench for the blade adjustment, comes with the push stick, your fence, the sliders, the blade guard, everything. 24 carbide tooth blade, everything's included, it looks like. So you can really just set this up. Obviously battery powered, or corded. So we got the cord here. Plug it in, give it a try. This is everything it comes with, so it looks good. We're gonna go ahead and try it out. We'll roll through some footage of it running, kind of what it looks like. We're gonna put it through its paces, do a lot of cuts on it, and really see how it performs. But if you like the video, if you like what we're doing, definitely hit the like button, subscribe, check out our website for more information on what we're doing. Our Amazon link in the description below really helps us out. and hit that notification button so you get notified each and every time one of our videos goes live. Thanks for watching, guys. We have the RTS11. Whew, Ryobi 10-inch table saw with folding stand. Ooh, oh, this thing's awesome. Okay, probably how we're gonna need to attach the recoil. I'm not sure exactly how this blade rotation that way. Yeah, so it goes just like that. And what we're going to do is we're going to pick these up. Well, maybe not. Let me think. So what we're going to do, how are they supposed to get there? There's only two. Oh, it's got to go through both?
Button up right against the back there. I mean, I don't think this makes a difference, but I don't think that's going to make a difference. No, because it's hitting that right there. And there's no way to... Well, that's just the dumbest thing ever.